a force, an energy, a vibration, a consciousness, whatever name you can try to put to God. It has masculine and feminine principles, aspects. We cannot name God. God is a word. My understanding of the word God itself comes from the German good. And in society and culture throughout the world, there is much energy and reverence put upon God, because I will often tell you, I don't know what God is, but I know God is. We cannot label it, we cannot contain it, but we know it is so. We know it is so because we experience, we feel it. This great creative source. In Unity, we talk about the masculine being the knowledge, the wisdom, the power, protection, presence, purpose, strength, spirit, source. The feminine being the love, the intuitive, and the two coming together, working in tandem in this creation of the whole being. I love these attributes for the masculine principle, the power and the protection. I heard someone say, whether your earthly father is a saint or a struggle, he is still your father. Couldn't we say the same for whatever God source you put that? I don't even have words right now. I find myself being hesitant to even try and label what any of us would call God, except the one I'm always good with is love. God is love. God is fullness and wholeness. God is not judging. God is not fear. Those are things that we do to ourselves as human beings. We put these aspects onto ourselves. We project them out to others, and we accept that projection from others to put their fear and their power over us, to control us. But we are always at choice. So this is not about a man in the sky with a beard, or a presence, but it is about that creative energy of love. The creative energy of love. And when we get quiet and still, we know this, right? We can feel it. No matter how loud the world gets, even through all the noise, we can still feel a holy presence. I went down to the No Kings march, protest, gathering, whatever you want to call it, yesterday. And I was immediately brought to tears by the amount of love that was on our courtyard square. And it was noisy. It was loud. And my guess is that a certain drummer's arms might be a little tired this morning, but I'm not sure. I'll ask him later. But it was loud, and it was great, and it was awesome. Now, that's not to make any political statement. That is to say that when that much power and purpose comes together in humanity to make noise And when there is good and love underneath the purpose of that, it is palpable and you can feel it. That is the holy presence. That is the nature of God expressing itself as love and as that divine protection, as that divine power, giving purpose and strength. We can have that in the collective, and we can have that individually within ourselves when we stop and just simply feel the holy presence. God is not a person, but a presence, not male or female, but the infinite creative energy of love that flows through each of us. A presence of male and female attributes. We are told that we are made in the image of God. That balance of love and wisdom and just that sweetness. I know you know what I'm talking about. And it empowers us. It flows through us. A reminder of Unity's principles that Unity prefers not to be labeled with dogma. These are doorways into our spiritual evolution, into our spiritual knowing. God is absolute good, everywhere present. These are worded a little differently than how we usually affirm them together. Human beings are inherently divine. We create our life experiences through our thoughts and our beliefs. Prayer and meditation align us with God mind, and we live these principles through conscious action. We live these principles through remembering that we are one with this divine source creation and that we are always at choice. We are always at choice. You know, over the years, there's been a lot of conversation about healing the inner child. And many of us, I imagine, have done a lot of inner child work throughout the years of healing that inner child. But I'm curious, and I'm not asking for an answer, but how many of us have focused on healing that inner father energy? Perhaps you have. But to really focus on what does it mean for you individually with that father consciousness within you to parent yourself with that order and that protection and that love and that guidance. To take responsibility for your own reality and not going back and blaming it on what happened in your past. Whether you had the most amazingly wonderful, absolute glorious father example, or you maybe fell short of that. And we're probably different days, different dads, same body, right? But what if we were able to step away from whatever our history was with that for just a moment and take time? Oh, wait a minute, here I am right now in this adult body. I am responsible for me. What do I choose today? What do I choose right now in this moment? Father, one of the faces of God energy, not the punishing patriarch. It always bothered me so much as I was growing up in Sunday school, and the face of God most often was very stern and punishing. And I feel like I grew up in a pretty open in the Friends Church that did not have the same heart, I don't know, maybe it was in some, anyway, that's another conversation. I guess I need to go back and re-church myself. But how many of us grew up with a harsh and punishing God? I'm not going to go on my soapbox. But I will close out that thought by saying that it is my feeling, and many of you know this, that punishing image of God that we have been given throughout the many, many years is so much of why we're hurting so much now. In Unity, we teach original blessing. We don't teach original sin. We don't teach that we have to be saved because there is nothing to be saved from. We do, on the other hand, get to pay attention to the choices that we've made over life. Be accountable to ourselves for those choices. Make apologies and amends to anyone that we may have hurt along the way, including ourselves. But let's bring it back into the manageable instead of keeping everything outside of ourselves having power over us. Charlie Thweet, one of my favorite New Thought singers, sings a song, "Take your power back." Take your power back. Right now, in this moment, no matter what is going on in the world, in your own life, come into the moment where you can feel your divinity, where you can feel your power to make your choices. And if you feel like you don't have enough strength and wisdom to figure out what that is on your own, ask for guidance, whether through your prayer and meditation or through another person. But we must stop giving our power away. Eric Butterworth, Unity minister, the great need is not to be loved, but to be love. To live in love is to live in God, for God is love. When we can start shifting that around to not craving love, but to realize that it is up to us to be the love that we are craving, things will start turning around and shifting. Divine Father principle is the love that empowers. In metaphysical terms, Father represents divine mind, wisdom, order, and the guidance of spirit within. It is the power principle, the directing energy behind your dream. This is not the God outside of yourself, it is the Father within. In the parable of the prodigal son from Luke, the father doesn't scold or shame. The son left, he wanted what was his, he left, he squandered it all, and then he came back going, "I think I made the wrong choice, Dad." And the father welcomed him back with open arms. That's not human parenting, that's spiritual law in action, always open, always abundant, always welcoming us back into alignment. Always there, always present. And so all of this ties into the divine law of order, of circulation and attraction. The healthy Father energy within us says, you are safe, you are worthy, and you are guided. You are never, ever alone. And again, Eric, God doesn't come down to your level of need. You rise to the level of wholeness. The Father energy calls us upward, not to prove ourselves, but to remember ourselves. Remember to remember. And so it is.